ILLUSION. Illusion, an 8-letter word, which meant that I became the Boxing Day Scrabble champion of 1993. I shouted triumphantly. You see, when people talk about nostalgia, my happy place will always be Boxing Day and the annual Scrabble challenge. The tradition started in 1978 when Father Christmas had very thoughtfully brought me Scrabble Junior. I was only about 6 at the time, and I'd already got a bit of a competitive streak. I played Scrabble Junior with my mum, my dad, sister, aunties, cousins, and friends at school. You know, when you're allowed to take in your favourite toy on the last day of term. Well, when I became the champion in 1993, my opponent was Rob, my boyfriend, and it was our very first Christmas together. And he'd been roped into being my challenger. Now, I don't know if he just let me win or if he'd just had a really bad day. But anyway, whilst he was on the floor putting the board away and the racks and the letters, I went into the kitchen to go and make myself a celebratory drink, a Smirnoff lime and lemonade, and a Jack Daniels and Coke for the gallant runner-up. When I went back into the living room, Rob was still sat on the floor, looking really cheeky with this gorgeous smirk on his face. And he looked at me and he said, "I think that's worth 27 points. Intrigued, I bent down to get a closer look at the tiles on the board. And I read, "Will you marry me?" Oh, I lost balance on my half-kneeling little jotting down on the floor, and oh my God, the drinks went absolutely everywhere, all over me, all over Rob, all over the board, so that the tiles were floating down this bubbling stream of whiskey and vodka. And then he looked at me and he said, "Well?" I was like, "Yes." Yes. I was screaming, but at the same time, like bursting into tears. And then, so we got married in July 96, and it was the happiest day of my life. And then we had our first child, a daughter called Evie, in April 98, and then Jack in January of 2001, and our perfect little family was complete. And then Christmas 2007, Evie and Jack had their first ever Scrabble Junior championship. But unfortunately, it ended rather abruptly because Evie accused Jack of cheating. Then in retaliation, Jack threw the board up into the air. So there were tiles cascading from the ceiling like alphabetized snowflakes. And they were just everywhere. Luckily, before the last tile hit the floor, they were rolling around in absolute fits of giggles on the carpet. There's tears streaming down their faces, and they were gasping for breath in between their hearty, contagious laughter. Oh, by the time we'd got them to bed, the little monsters. Rob was starting to rustle around in the family-sized Quality Street tin, and he placed in my hand, not my favourite, the big purple one, but 2 Scrabble tiles. Anyway, I picked him up and jokingly threw them at him, and they hit him in the forehead because I misjudged my aim and bounced off and plonked into his favourite Christmas tipple of whiskey and coke. He fished them out and there was a Q and a J, and he wiped them on his sleeve and dried them off, and he said, "Right, you can have an 18-point deficit, Mrs. Jackson, so go and find the board and let the battle commence." So I went off into the other room and started to look for the Scrabble box. And there was a familiar song playing in the background. The lyrics were floating in the air. Searching for a destiny that's mine. There's another place, another time, touching many hearts along the way. Oh no. I could feel my heartbeat getting faster and faster, and the lyrics were starting to fill the room. Emotions flowing from anywhere. Is it building magic in the air? Never let your feelings get you down. Open your eyes and look around. Oh, no. No. This feeling, I recognised it. And the knot was getting bigger and tighter in my stomach. And the song was filled the air. Could it be a picture in my mind? Never sure exactly what I'll find. Only in my dreams I turn you on. Here for just a moment, then you're gone. No. I didn't want to wake up. Too late. The voice on the radio said, "Good morning, it's 8:15 and you're listening to the hits of the 80s with Just an Illusion by Imagination." You see, Rob was torn from our lives in 2018 when cancer took him. So now, while I'm alive, I just keep him there in my dreams.